Hello, today is January 29th, 2016, and I am your host, Sue Brown, and welcome to info2rail, your freight train to modern media. How y'all doing today? Well, we're doing a night show, and haven't told you guys in a while, but our weather out here is kind of weird. Not only do we have a little bit of snow, but our temperatures have actually been going up to the 40s, and this weekend it looks like we're going to be in the high 40s or maybe even 50s, so it's a little bit crazy for New York, but oh well, we'll take it. I want to welcome you all to our show, and we have a great show in store for you. We're very fortunate to have paranormalist and UFO abduction survivor Paul Wesley with us. First, we're going to take a little glimpse into the missing persons files. Virginia State Police say missing Virginia girl believes to be in danger. Nicole Madison Lavelle, age 13, was last seen in Lantern Ridge area in Blacksburg, Virginia on 1/27/2016. Lavelle is 4'8", weighs 125 pounds, has long brown hair, slightly past shoulder length, blue eyes, and a tracheotomy scar on her throat. Lavelle was last seen wearing black jeans, possibly a gray striped moss oak shirt, brown and pink, fat boy, cowboy boots, and maybe in the possession of a blue blanket with yellow minions. They're animated characters on it. She may go by the name Nikki Maddie Lavelle. Lavelle requires prescription medication daily from a previous liver transplant and is currently without it. Anyone with any information on Lavelle's location, please contact the Blacksburg Police Department at 540-961-1150 or anonymously at 540-961-1819 or by email at ciu@blacksburg.gov. Like I said, I put these out there every week because it's a passion of mine, and we need to bring these people home. If there's anything that I can do to bring awareness to our missing persons, whether young or old, that is one of my biggest things in my life, is to try to help out with this. Our next one is a missing Wisconsin girl. Mackenzie Markin, age 14, was last seen leaving her home in Schofield, Wisconsin at approximately 7 a.m. on 10/11/2015. She's a student from Mossany High School. She is 5'7", weighs 150 pounds, has long brown hair and brown eyes. Markin usually wears purple glasses and may be wearing black combat boots. She may go by the last name Doll. Anyone with any information on her location, please call the Everest Metropolitan Police Department at 715-359-4202 or Marathon County Crime Stoppers hotline at 1-877-409-8777. You can remain anonymous and could be eligible for a cash reward. As a mother of four, I very much can imagine what these mothers are going through. Our teens these days, they don't realize the dangers out there and what they could be facing when they go, when they disappear like this. So please, you guys, aid in finding these people. I have pictures on my website, on my info2rail website, my Google sites. Just, get on there and check them out and see if we can bring these young ladies home. And we have an update. Rosemary Galat, which I have done a couple different missing persons on her. She has been found safe. I want to thank you so much, everybody, for aiding in her safe return. Okay, we're going to take a break now, and when we return, we'll have Paul Wesley with us. Stay tuned. Don't go away. We'll be right back. Okay, we are back with Paul Wesley. Paul Wesley, also known as Truthchaser, has had paranormal experiences since the age of 6. He is an alien abduction survivor who has made it his personal mission to spread the importance of self-empowerment and his belief on not only why we are not alone, but what he thinks the agenda is. Paul has been on multiple radio shows, is a worldwide activist on almost every subject, hosting numerous activist events and is known for his unique style of one-on-one journalism. Paul held multiple presentations, both paranormal and activism related, and bridges the gap between both activism and universalism. Hello, Paul, and welcome to info2rail, and thank you so much for being on the show.
Hey, Sue, how are you? And thank you so much for having me on. It's a pleasure, and it's great to be here. Thanks a lot.
Can you start out by telling our listeners about you and how you got started in what you do?
Sure. First off, I've had my first paranormal experience, I would say, around the age of 6 years old, when I've had my first paranormal experiences. And from then, it's pretty much periodically happened on and off throughout my childhood, into my teenhood, and obviously, now into my adulthood. And from that experiences that I've had, it really resonated with me to really get out there and try to help people who've had certain experiences and similar experiences that I've had, and add that on to the activism that I do. It kind of really got me to the point where I said, well, I need to get out there and really empower myself to empower others, as far as the paranormal is concerned. And not only that, but to empower others to empower themselves to merge and mix paranormal experiences and paranormal in the world with activism in the world, which I strongly think is really connected. So, as a young child and through your teens and as a young man having these experiences, it really, there's either one or two things you can do. You could A, completely ignore it, or B, understand it and, grow with it. So,
what kind of activism do you do?
Well, that's a good question. That's a really good question. It really comes down to how we define activism. That really goes back to how I got started. Period. I mean, anything that really matters to humanity in general, which would be from the food we eat, from the air we breathe, from the water we drink, from the way our consciousness works, from the way we relate to each other, from even paranormal activism when it comes to dealing with negative entities and how to, recognize the parasite, as I call them, and how to deal with the parasite and heal ourselves from the parasite. So, what kind of activism? Well, I've hosted multiple chemtrail events, geoengineering, if you want to call it that, events in the state of Pennsylvania. I'm the first one to bring light to the geoengineering situation on the state of Pennsylvania. I've covered all the Monsanto events, all the water, clean water events. So, I mean, I pretty much covered every piece of activism that you can think of, from End the Fed to Monsanto, from exposing the media. One of the things I've been the first one to bring to light the importance of exposing the media I would say in the world. Well, I mean, I'm going to come out here and say it, but yeah. So the first one to expose the media worldwide, I would say, ego-free, with all humbleness, I would say that whether we're dealing with paranormal experiences or whether we're dealing with activism, the mainstream media is a problem because they're not talking about ghost experiences. They're not talking about people that are being, their auras that are being influenced by these negative beings. They're not talking about how the consciousness works. They're not talking about activists, how our foods, our air, or water is being poisoned. They're not talking about the fact that millions upon millions of people have been abducted against their free will. So one of the main things that I really kind of really took it as my mission to do after all the activism and stuff that I've been doing and continue to do was exposing the media. So man, what activism have I done? I think your question would be, what activism have I not done? So, yeah, a lot of things.
I think what I'm seeing in the world, I'm somebody who really is a kind of a, somebody who sits back and really takes things in. And what I've noticed in this world a lot lately that kind of blows me away, and not many people realize it, is the change in human beings from what they used to be. I see a big change in morals, in relationships, in whether it be mother, daughter, son, husband, wife, boyfriend, girlfriend. I see, even when you're going into a store and you're dealing with a human being, just getting groceries or buying something. And, it seems everybody is so different now, and everybody is just not what they were. Everybody's miserable or angry or mean. There's no please and thank you anymore. There's no smile and have a good day anymore. Everybody's, right down to, two people who should be having a great relationship together who have no reason not to be, where there's constant, anger and meanness and cruelty and emotional abuse. And, I'm not recognizing this as what I grew up in at all. So at 44 years old, I'm taking a step back and looking at what our children are walking into in this world, and there's something wrong here.
Absolutely. And this is one of the few, very few radio shows. Actually, this is the first radio show I've ever been on that a host has actually came out and brought this to light, and thank you for that. Wow, that's called dehumanization, and that's what they're doing, and you really hit it spot on. So you really hit it spot on. It's good. It's really good to hear someone else actually be consciously aware of what's going on, because whether you're dealing with universal or activism, that could be many things, but it's what I call dehumanization. It's called these beings that run this world, and they do. These parasites, they're poisoning our air, they're poisoning our food, they're poisoning our water. They're putting all this crap on the news. They're putting all this garbage, out in the music nowadays. They're dehumanizing people. People are so, and I'm telling you what, if you ever go on a subway, if you ever, like you say, if you go in a supermarket or something like that, right? When you look at people, there's no eye contact anymore. There's no, hey, how are you, sir? Or, hey, man, how are you? Or hey, I want to open up the door for you. Like people are literally, if they're in front of you, they'll walk through the Wawa or whatever door, and they'll just let it shut. And you're just, hey, I have my daughter or whatever with me. They won't even hold the door. It's called dehumanization. And now the reason for this is what they want to do is they want to spiritually rip us from our wholeness, our soulness, and who we are. And what we are is low vibrational beings. So if they can rip that from us, then we're owned. We're basically their slaves, and that's what we're seeing now. We're seeing people who have lost touch with reality. They're so mind controlled and so brainwashed with the Xbox 360s or PS4s or the new iPhone 5. And you know what, Sue? It's great to have the new gadgets. It's great. Like, I'm not saying don't watch a football game. I'm not saying don't watch a hockey game. What I'm saying is when you let this control your life, when you consciously allow yourself to be unattached and detached from who you are on a spiritual level, then it's game over. And I think the elitists that run this world, that poison our food, that poison our water, and then we look at, like we were talking about earlier before the show, we look at the rate of cancer, the rate of autism. This is done by design. These parasites want to depopulate the planet. Number one, Phil Schneider, rest in peace, talked about this. The late Carla Turner talked about this. Okay, William Cooper talked about this, but nobody else is talking about this. You know what I'm saying?
It seems crazy.
Nobody else on is talking about this.
It seems crazy to me because, I look around and I'm still that person. I'm still connected to people. But you know what? You can't even have a conversation with somebody without their face buried in a phone or something else. And it makes me mad. You know what?
I am That's right.
I am so tired. I'm tired of sitting in a house full, and I get mad at my kids. So you know what? My 8-year-old will not have my 14-year-old does not have a cell phone. She's 14, and yes, she gets mad, and I'm like, you know what? Too bad. But and my 21-year-old, she's not like that either. My 20-year-old, yes, she's out in the world doing her own thing, and she's a little bit detached from how things are at home. But the rest of my kids, you know what? It's about it's about the person that's in front of you, or the person I see husband and wives going their separate ways. They have no commitment. They have there's no commitment. There's no morals. There's no, till death do we part. There's no, I put you first. You're my priority. There's no, nobody who will actually, sit down and say, how can we make this better? It's a throwaway world and it makes me sick. But the thing I think that makes me the maddest is when you cannot sit down and have a normal conversation with somebody that you'd like to get to know, or even somebody that you know well, without their face in a phone, or wait a minute, I got to answer this text, or wait a minute, I got to answer this phone call. You know what? When you're sitting and talking with me, why don't you shut the thing off and talk to me? And I get mad. I mean, I get downright irate when I am replaced by technology.
But why is that though? I mean, we really have to sit back and ask ourselves, like, we're old school, me and you. So, it wasn't like that 15, 20 years ago. And the thing is that why is that now? I mean, why are people the way they are? I mean, listen, for anyone who's going to listen into this, I'll tell you what, I got a little challenge for you. Go in your local market, go in your Pathmark, your Kroger, or your Walmart, wherever you go, and pay attention to people's body language, their energy. People, they're like zombies. They're just like, boom, I gotta go out and get the potatoes. They're on sale.
Well, everything is so everybody's so materialistic that nobody stops to realize whatsoever that it's not what you own or what you buy. It's who's in your life.
Take it. Preach it. That's right.
It is
That's
about
right.
It's about the people that really love you, the people that are going to be by your side, not a possession that's going to be gone tomorrow that you're going to turn around and scrimp and beg for the money to replace a possession. It's about the people you cannot replace.
You can't replace stuff, and you can't replace You can't replace love vibration. You can't replace self, and no one has passion anymore. You understand? Nobody wants to look up in the sky and see what's being sprayed. Nobody wants to listen to radio shows like yourself, which is amazing, and say, hey, well, things are going on in the world.
No, because they're too into their next party, or I just bought a new truck and I'm going to go drive my truck and I'm going to go get drunk this weekend, and it's like, wow.
There's nothing wrong with wanting to have, nice things. There's nothing wrong with people with wanting to,
that's right. But
go to a nice party.
But when it comes first, that's right.
When it consumes your life, right, Sue?
That's right. I think that when, I see it a lot in relationships, since I am somebody everybody comes to in relationship matters. And they're always like, well, he or she is so preoccupied by everything but me. And it's like, you know what? We need to get back to, why are we with the people we're with if they're not priority in our lives? You cannot put a possession or something as priority. When someone knows that they are priority in your life, they don't mind you doing the things you want to do as long as they know that they come first. And I think that this world is so backwards and upside down that for somebody like me, it is very hard for me to live in this world. It's very hard.
It's rough. It's like you said earlier, it makes you angry. And I think like people see some of my Facebook posts and they're just like, wow, you're so angry. I'm not angry. I'm frustrated. I'm frustrated because one of the things that we try to implement is it's called self-empowerment. And what self-empowerment means is it means, look, don't listen to radio shows like this and say, oh, wow, I can resonate with that. We don't care if you resonate to it. We care that you take that resignation and you empower yourself to do something about it, okay?
That's right. Stand up. That's right.
Stand up. Stand up. Look, you know about Monsanto? You're being poisoned, baby. They're poisoning your crops.
I
They're
know.
pissing in your crops. They're putting formaldehyde in your crops. What are you going to do about it? So tell them. What do they tell them?
Well, that's the thing, though. I saw my dad, a very, very healthy man for 70 years. And then all of a sudden I see my father get cancer, and all of a sudden he's gone in less than a year. I mean, this is happening worldwide here, you guys. Nobody's paying attention. You're all losing. You're losing your mothers, your fathers, your sisters, your brothers, your relatives, and everybody's falling off the wayside. And nobody seems to take 5 minutes to stop and say, why is everybody dying at a quick pace like this? Well, it's because nobody looks up. They're spraying chemtrails in the air that are falling on all of us. They're affecting all of us. They're killing all of us. And we just seem to be saying, give us some more of that as long as we can drive our new cars. Give us some more of it.
Yeah. Give us some more of it. Hey, but don't worry about what they're spraying in the sky. Guess what? Miley Trendy Cyrus, she's coming out with a new video, right? That's
as long as you don't take away my cell phone or my computer.
Yeah, that's right. And you know what? Let me tell you something. This is the real nitty gritty right here. All right, ready? Here we go. So here's the real nitty gritty. And for those of you who are like, oh my God, this is a paranormal show. Hey, we're going to get to the paranormal part. Everyone relax. But me and Sue's energy right now. We're on a roll, so we're going to hit, and it all connects, doesn't it, too?
It sure does. I mean, it connects
it all
paranormal and all of it connects
all
all at once.
It all connects. And what did I say? I told everyone, I said, look, I'm bringing it. I'm bringing universalism with activism. Oh, no, Paul, it's not going to happen. It's impossible. I'll tell you what, it's not impossible, because we're manifesting it right here. We're manifesting it today. And it's going to become manifestation of thought. Manifestation is going to turn into reality. And what's happening now is this. These beings who run the world, you call them the elite, you call them the Illuminati, the enlightened ones, the illuminated ones, we don't care, okay? They understand how the paranormal works, they understand how the conscious works, they understand how the spirit works, how the soul works. And there's nothing more disheartening, as Sue was saying, when you have a married couple, you come in a house, see me, listen, when I'm with my woman, and I love her, and I'm physically and emotionally bonded with this individual. I wake up, I come downstairs, I slap her on her butt, and I say, hey, babe, you look amazing. You know, and I grab her on her ass, you look amazing. That's the type of man I am, okay? We don't have that anymore. You know what we have? This is what we have. Wake up in the morning. Oh, hon, what's on TV? Oh, I don't know. You know, we're spiritually disconnected. We're spiritually disconnected as beings, and this is what the elite, they want to dehumanize us, okay? Oh, hon, I came home from work. Oh, I don't want to make love to you. What are you talking about? Make love to you? I had a hard day at work. Sorry. You know, forget the bomb that you had when you looked in each other's eyes when you first met. We don't have that anymore. They're spraying in our food. They're dehumanizing us. They're spraying in our sky. What goes up comes in our crops, right? Goes in our food.
But we need to take that back, though. We need to start to get back to the morals and ethics and the things that brought us together to start with, whether it's to be a couple or friends. I mean, to me,
they don't want that, though. You know, that's so true. So listen, they don't want that, though. Listen, they don't want us communicate with each other. They don't want love vibration. They don't want us, you know, say out walking down the street, we're holding each other. They don't want me holding each other. No, they don't want that. They want hate. They want anger. They want fear.
Yes, and you know what? They have totally, in so many ways, they have totally succeeded in so many ways, and it makes me sick. It makes me sick too. You hear this, people? Makes us sick. Well, people out there that, you know, were such good couples for so long, you know, all of a sudden one of them wants to go live separately. And they've been together all these years, and I want to live separately, have my own apartment, even though we've been together for 10 years. And, you know, it's like, what the hell is the matter? Excuse my language, but what
No, go ahead.
What the hell?
You got Paul Wesley on the show.
I know, but
you can say whatever you want.
I don't usually swear on my shows. But, you know, it's what the hell is the matter with you people?
Yes.
You know, why are you moving out and getting your own apartment and splitting your family when you should be banding together and proving to the elite and everybody else that you will have more love between you. You will have more commitment. You will have more priority, you know?
More priority,
more passion, more everything.
More passion.
You know what? You will be the ones that make it, and
And
you
I'm
will
gonna
be
tell
the
you,
ones that teach others how to make it, you know?
And I'm going to tell you, and I'm going to throw some universalism, and we're going to throw some paranormal into it. Because right off the bat, guys, we came out, and Sue's energy is amazing, and it's right up there in mine, and that's when you get two people that are all fired up, we're just going to give it to you. So, we're going to dig into a little paranormal. So at a young age, Sue, with the abductions, with what I have gone through, okay. At a young age, when I was first abducted, I had the astral travel, out of body experiences, okay, and from having that, it really got to me to the point where I said to myself, I'm like, well, what's going on in the world? Like, why are so many, am I the only one that this is happening to? Number one, am I the only one that can see spirits? Am I the only one that can see auras? Am I the only one that, is having these experiences? And when I researched, I've seen people like yourself that obviously, have similar experiences. And when you start connecting with people, that's when you start putting the puzzle together. And the puzzle leads to a really dark agenda. And the dark agenda are these Archons, they call them. The Bible talks about them, the Archons. I'm not really a religious freak, but I do take things from the Bible. And I'll tell you what, the Archons, the fallen angels, they call them the jinn. In the other, the Arabics, they call them the jinn, whatever, the demons. These are these grays, the ones that have been taking people, abducting people against their free will. So people like David Jacobs, he's talked about them previous at times in Eastern Philadelphia also. He's undergoing hypnosis with people who have, like myself, who have been abducted throughout their lives. And what we're dealing with dark entities who have taken over our reality, who have taken over our government, who have taken over our essence. And this is why we pretty much started the show, like, poof, because they've taken over we're trying to not only depopulate the planet, but dehumanize the planet. Because there's steps to this, and this is what I want to get on to, if you don't mind.
No, absolutely. I mean, I believe you're right.
There's steps to this. There's steps to this.
Well, for me,
there's steps to this.
I'm very into the missing persons thing. I'm somebody who always puts out missing persons at the beginning of all my shows. And for me,
how many are missing in the country, Sue? Like 200,000 a year.
Yes,
where the hell are they going?
Where the hell are they going? The population of missing persons has actually grown tremendously.
Are you kidding? And they're mostly teenagers or kids.
Yes, they
because
are.
They're being taken in these. I gotta hold my mouth.
No, the funny thing is, though, where are they going, and why?
They're going in the underground bases.
But why are we not? Nobody's finding a single trace of these people.
Nobody's taking a single trace of them. Talk about it, Sue.
No,
Talk about it, please.
Brittany Drexel from Rochester, New York. She went. Went to South Carolina on vacation. Well, for spring break, and all of a sudden she disappears without a trace. They can't
without a trace. They can't do shit. That's right. They can't do shit. But I'll tell you what. Look at all the underground bases that they have. Okay, so there's Phil Schneider. If anyone doesn't believe what we're saying, Google this. YouTube. Phil Schneider Part 407. Part 407. The man said it in the 90s. William Cooper. Google the name. They all have been murdered. Matter of fact, the guy who did the 9/11, the pilot who said about 9/11 was into that job, him and his family were killed. Who else? All the I hate when I started. I told you I was going to do this before the show, but all the holistic healers, the ones who cured the cancer and the marijuana, the natural. They're all fucking dead.
Yeah.
They're all dead. You understand, people? They're all dead. Let me tell you something. Where are all these missing people going, and why aren't the media covering it? People say, oh, well, Sue is crazy because what? She has her own radio show, and she talks about the paranormal. And, oh, don't listen to her, okay? Don't listen to these shows where they're talking about real things. Listen. Get your head out of the Xbox One and get your mind. Get your mind. Where are the FBI? The paper trail, Sue, is there. You understand? But the media is not covering it.
Absolutely.
That's the problem. you don't believe anything Sue's saying. Like, people on Facebook go, oh, well, this chick, she's just posting another missing person. Well, we're just going to skip over that, and, we're going to go to, like, the NDAA or something. You're going to skip over the real stuff that matters, and you're going to, like, go to an article that talks about what's happening in Idaho or wherever the hell, Omaha, whatever the hell it is, where they're talking about what the federal standoff or whatever that's happening. I don't give a shit about that. I want to talk about where all these missing kids going. You tell me.
Hey, that's a very passionate thing for me. I've been into that for years.
I know what you want me to tell you where they're going to? You want me to tell you where they're going? So I'm going to tell you right now where they're going to go, or where they're going. These kids, these teenagers that are being taken, they're being sacrificially done away with. And this may seem brazen or bold, but yes, they're being sacrificially disposed of. They're taking the blood, they're sacrificing them. You don't believe me, look up the Bohemian Grove. Bohemian Grove, with every single freaking president, even Nixon, even Reagan, they were members of the Grove. They sacrificed these kids to their gods. Now, who are their gods? Why are these kids going missing? Why are our leaders sacrificing kids in these underground bases, which they are? If you don't believe me, look it up. Why are they doing this? Well, because this goes back to, you realize, this is 2016, right? These traditions, these demonic, satanic traditions have been going on for thousands and thousands of years. Yes, we're technologically spoiled. I'm not going to say advanced because we're not frigging advanced. We're spoiled. We're technologically spoiled. So, but other than that, the same thing is happening now that happened years ago. They're sacrificing these children. They're sacrificing them, and the main goal is this. Sacrificial events depopularize the planet. Once you depopularize the planet, you make sure that you dehumanize the planet. Now, there's a reason for depopulation than dehumanization, because you cannot depopularize a planet via food, air, water, and mind control. You cannot just depopulate. You can depopularize a planet, but if you don't mind control the population that's left and dehumanize them, then you cease to exist in power. And the elite know this. Because in order to stay in power, I don't give a shit if you have 100 people left on the planet. They can rebel and overthrow you. You understand? What they want to do is depopularize us, then dehumanize us. So that way, nobody knows about how to grow their own farmer's market or their own food. No one's going to know, about how to spiritually pray or how to spiritually, connect with your fellow human being. Because we're not going to have that in the next 15, 20 years the way we're going.
Yep, and we're all going to be fully dependent on them.
Oh, yeah, well, here's the thing. Listen. Where do we buy our food from, Stu? We buy it from the grocery store, right?
Absolutely,
right?
Yep.
Where do we get our medicine from, Susan? We get it from where? A pharmaceutical market, right? Right? You ready? Where do we get our spiritual awareness from? So we get it from the freaking media on the TV tube. Now, 100 years ago, we made our own medicine. 100 years ago, where do we get our news from? We got it from, from our biblical leaders, from our shamans. Okay, where do we get our own food from? We grow it. You understand? We grow it. Now, my mother came from a long line of Wiccans. You understand? I'm not a Wiccan. I don't practice, paganism or Wiccanism. I'm a universalist. But magic has been strong in my family for a long time. They killed them all off. Look at the Salem witch hangings, okay? They killed them all off. They don't want anyone practicing magic. They don't want anyone practicing anything where you think outside of the box. They don't want people to understand how the conscious works. They don't want people to understand how universalism works. This is why anyone who has their own, different thought process, let's just say, okay? Anything that stimulates the consciousness, anything that stimulates the mind, they will either A, kill you, B, call you crazy, or C, make up something about you to discredit what you're about. And I talked about this on multiple radio shows. I mean, think about it too. For 1 second, think about it. All the so-called witches have all been hung. And the Native Americans, look what they did to them. They fucking killed them all. But why? I mean, no one sits down and ask yourself, why? Why have they done these things? And now what are we left with? We're left with dependence on supermarkets, dependence on technology, dependence. If you don't pay your taxes and you don't go to work, you starve. You're fucked. You're screwed.
Well, that, and I mean, you can't even grow your own food and sell it to your neighbors or anything without getting fined. And you have to have a piece of paper. That piece of paper gives you the allowance to be able to grow your own food and sell it to your neighbors. You know what? If I want to grow a garden in my yard and I'm not even going to sell it to my neighbors, I'm just going to take it over and give it to them. That's the way it should
they want
be.
everybody vaccinated, too. They want everyone vaccinated. There was no vaccinations back in the early days. Well, maybe a few, but
now it seems like they vaccinate you against everything. I mean, I had chicken pox as a kid. Everybody I know had chicken pox as a kid. But now it's a horrible thing if your kid gets chicken pox. Well, why is that such a horrible thing? I had it, and you know what? I'm fine.
Here's the thing. All these young kids, like my daughter is slightly, I don't like talking about this on air, but I do, because people need to hear it. My daughter's slightly disabled due to, you know how much mercury is in these vaccinations?
Oh, yes, I do. Does? I have an ADHD kid.
There you go. You know what mercury does? Like, my daughter's not like, thank God, and then I do a lot of, work with people who have, kids that are autistic and all, and I'm a really good spokesperson for kids with autism. But she's not autistic, but she's good, but she's not good. Speech is delayed and stuff like that, but she's lucky. She's not as bad as what she could have been. And then, and the mercury that's in the shots, the mercury that's in with the spraying in the air. I mean, this is paranormal, people. And the reason I told you all, I said we have to realize that paranormalism and activism goes hand in hand. Because you activists out there that think your shit don't stink, well, screw you, Paul, and the Fed, or, they're taking my gun rights. That's all you care about. Constitution. But we have to mix universalism with activism because, and Susan understands what I'm saying, is that it's the same thing. Because, just as important as it is for our Bill of Rights, it's just as important to understand the other dimensions that we live in. It's important to understand the other beings that exist in these other dimensions that are influencing. There are these other beings that exist in other dimensions, whether you call them aliens or Archons or whatever. They're the reasons why your constitutional rights are being taken away. Do you people honestly think frigging first contact is going to happen if we all have our Second Amendment? No, it's not going to happen. Do you know why? Because they don't want people armed when there's motherships flying across the sky, because people will try to shoot them down, number one. Number two, they don't want us armed.
Because we'd be able to actually defend ourselves, and they don't want that.
Ourselves. Adolf Hitler, Stalin, all of them. What did they do? What did they do, Susan? They dehumanized the population through the fluoride, first off, and they disarmed the population. If you look at Europe, look what's going on in Germany right now. It's a true example of what's going to happen in America soon if we don't get our shit together. All the rapes, these refugees, these that are coming in, okay, they don't have guns. They don't have the right to bear arms. All these women are being raped by these Syrians that are coming in, okay, and I seen an interview with a couple of Syrian girls, and then they were saying, they said, well, do you have any, German friends? And they said, no, why the hell would we have German friends for? They're Paris. They said they're not like us. They're anti-human. They're not like us. Like, we're Syrians. Like, their religion teaches them that we're like we're less than them. You know what I mean? So they'll come over to get the free welfare in Germany. They'll come over to get the tents and, get out of being bombed and all that in Syria. But as soon as they come to Germany, they're raping people. They're getting special privileges. They're getting special rights.
Yeah,
and at the same time, they're spitting on the people.
And our homeless are sitting here who,
right.
a lot of them have gone to fight for our freedom and fight for
That's
us.
right.
And, not only them, but people who used to be able to work and make it, who,
Right.
they raise prices so high that we can't even afford it if we have two jobs.
Oh, yeah.
And then
If you get Social Security, you're screwed. You get SSD, you get a veterans check like I get, you get nothing. You get a VA check, you're done. How are you going to afford to get a house? You can't do that. You fought for your country to get nothing.
Well, that's the problem.
Thousands of immigrants can come in. Hey, Sue, thousands of immigrants can come in. Listen, there's more abandoned houses, okay, Sue, than there are homeless.
That's
homeless
right. And
population.
why not give the homeless that are in our own country, the ones that need it here, why not open the doors to them and help them get on their feet, help them be able to live some sort of a decent life? That's what we owe our people first. And that's what makes me so angry as I look around.
Say what you mean. Say it makes you sick.
It does make me sick because here's our homeless people, and half of them, if not more, are, vets that came back that, have issues because of what they've seen and what they've done. And here we say, you know what, there's a tent in Walmart and we'll give you enough money to buy that tent. You can go find some place to sleep. But yet somebody comes in from another country and we owe them nothing.
They get loans. Listen, they get loans. They get frigging loans.
They get houses for free. We hand them a house and say, hey, this is abandoned.
Loans.
Yeah.
It's insanity. I was just on weaponized news and, come to think about it, I was talking about homeless people. And one of the things that bothers me, see, there's different kind of homeless. We have the junkies on the corner who are physically able to work, physically able to do something. Now, I've been homeless in Florida. I've been homeless in Atlanta. I've been homeless in Vegas. I've been homeless in Philadelphia. And I've been homeless in New York City. So from personal experience, I want to say this. There's a difference between being homeless and being a bum. And the problem is, there's two problems here. We have people that are that are mentally screwed up in the head because they serve their country and they are homeless and they're not being taken care of. Now that is wrong. And then we have people who are mentally disabled who need help. These people need help, and they're not getting the help. All right? And then we have people who are taking advantage of the system and are getting high and are standing out on the corner, give me some change. And I'm like, dude, I'm 35 years old, okay? I know you're my age, and I know you can physically. So I'm starting a program. It's called Homelessness to Activists. No shit. This is real talk. And what I'm doing is I'm giving out the people who I think are legitimately could work, legitimately are strong, sensible individuals. I'm giving them flyers about chemtrails and about universalism. I'm saying, hey, look, come with me, man. I will frigging employ you. I will employ you. You come with me and hand these flyers and I'll pay you $10 an hour. We stand out for 5 hours, boom, there's $50. I got people lined up. If I do a protest, hey, look, guys, we're going to have a protest. $10 an hour, man. Spread the word. And if I'm not paying you, the days that I'm not doing something, hopefully you empower yourself to empower others. And I think that's what we really need to do as a whole. I mean, because, we have to really, it's a double-edged sword here. I mean, we have people who are really can work but don't want to work.
Yeah, but there's a lot of us as well. I mean, I have 4 girls, and, being a single mother of 4 girls is hard. I worked 2 jobs for a lot of years, and still, back then in the days when my older 2 were younger, I was a single mother of 2, and I worked 2 jobs, and I could make it. When rent was only $4.25 a month and things were a little bit easier. But now, I mean, I could work 2 full-time jobs, never see my kids. So that takes away from, what I need to be to my children. And even if I'm working 80 hours a week, I'm still not making enough to be able to supply a roof over my children's heads.
You know what? They set it up like that, though. I mean, that's another part of what we were talking about earlier, though. Dehumanization. You know, they want to put out in like the music industry, like, oh, you know, shake, you know, do the shake and do the twerk and shake your ass and go out and pop out 5 kids. It's okay, you know, be promiscuous, do this, do that. You know, in the music industry, that's what they're doing, because what that does is the outcome of all this is that you have an unstable family environment. You see, they don't want a stable family environment. They want single mothers and single fathers like myself, because if you have a family environment, then you have communication, you have humanization, and you can break the matrix that we live in. Now, with people that are homeless, when I was homeless, when I was in Vegas homeless, for example, I was cleaning my clothes in the Salvation Army, for Christ's sake, and I was out exposed in the media in Vegas. I never asked for anything. There's always Catholic Charities, or there's always, Brotherhood Missions, or there's always homeless shelters that are there. If people that are homeless, that, if you lose your job and you're homeless, there's no excuse that you can't hustle and get back on your feet. What bugs me is people that choose to bum, that choose to not empower themselves, that physically and consciously say, hey, look, you know what, screw it. I'm not going to empower myself to get back on my feet. Now, they're the people that I try to reach out to. Most people would give up on them, but I try to say, hey, look, man, you gave up. I'm offering you a way out here. Our world is in dire straits.
Well, I can tell you, from experience, I can tell you that I've hit rock bottom in my life. I have 4 girls, like I said, and being a single mother is rough. But, when my dad got sick, that was my priority, is to make sure that I was here to take care of my dad. My mom is, up there in age as well, and my mom couldn't do this on her own, especially.
But what I'm saying is there's always a way out.
But I mean,
there's always help out there.
That's walking away from 2 jobs that I worked most of my whole life.
And you were dedicated to the family.
But I fell in a lot of ways. I got involved with somebody who, I don't want to get into that on here, but, I fell. My whole life didn't matter anymore. My existence didn't matter. Working didn't matter. Nothing mattered. And when my dad got sick, you got back on your feet, though. But you got back on your feet. I did.
You got back on your feet. And I think that
I'm doing my radio show, but I struggle daily to try to find a job or two to try to get back up on my feet.
That's fine, but you know what? You're struggling. That key word. You're struggling. You're in the moment. You're struggling. You're aware of what's going on in the world. You're aware of the tyranny that's going on in the world.
You know what? Though I talk to people. I talk to people who judge me for that. You know what? I can't hang out with you. I can't be your friend because I hear it, and it hurts my feelings because they'd have never walked in my shoes. They don't know what I've been through, nor have I walked in anyone else's shoes, so I don't have that right to judge. But for somebody to say to me, I can't get involved with you, I can't be your friend, I can't be seen in public with you because you don't have a car and you don't have a job. And I'm like,
there's a reason for that. There's a reason for that, too. Not to cut you off, but there's a reason for that. You know what that reason is? You're raising your vibration. You're raising your awareness as a human being. You're not dehumanized. These people that don't hang out with you anymore and judge you and say, oh well, look at you, you're doing this or you're doing this. Well, why are you doing that? Or they're detached. They're not on the same level you're on right now. You're on a conscious level right now, which is amazing. And we spoke about this earlier before the show. You're amazing. And that's what happens. See, when we first branch out to this understanding of what's going on in the world, whether it be the parasitical mindset of bringing negative people into our life, or bringing how negativity is controlling the world, and how we can manifest our own reality to manifest positivity. What happens is when we make that transformation to, hey, I don't want to go in a bar anymore and, look for girls all day. I don't want to sit around and watch football all day and just do what I used to do. I want to know how I can help other people. I've been homeless. I want to know how I can help other people that are struggling. And those who ain't struggling, well, then they're lost souls. fine.
But you know what? Sometimes reaching out to help these homeless people or people that don't, claim that they don't have anything, sometimes it backfires in your face because, as much as you try to help them, I'm somebody who sees the good in even the people that don't have any. And I guess that's part of my old soul is, thinking that even the worst person in the world has a good side to them. And whatever this world has done to people has proven to me that not everybody has a good side to them.
They don't. And you know what, too? I'm going to tell you what. As a single father, it's rough. I mean, it's a blessing every day that I wake up and it's a blessing I'm able to do what I do. But is it hard? Of course it is. But we have to understand that people are going to take advantage of us. I mean, people are going to take advantage of you. These negative beings are here for that sole purpose. I call them aura hoppers. Aura, you know what an aura is, right? Your aura. I call them aura hoppers. And what they do is they hop on our auras. In other words, like if they see that you have a bright aura, that you're a decent person, that you're in need of, love, or you're in need of change in my situation, I'm in need of changing everyone. I'll have someone aura hop me and say, oh, I want change. I want to change the world. And the next thing you know, they're sucking my energy dry. So, and that's and that's a constant battle in life. And that's, as sickening, as bad as it is, it's a beautiful thing because that's the duality of the existence that we live in. I mean, we literally live in a existence where we have good, we have bad, we have, the choices to make. And to be able to know what I know and to be able to know what you know, it's nothing more than a blessing from the Creator because I wouldn't change it for the world. I mean, I really wouldn't.
I wouldn't either, but sometimes it's very frustrating when you want to find normality sometimes. Sometimes I want to be able to, I know in my heart that I'm going to find the right person for me. But you know what? Sometimes you want it to happen so that that part of my life is complete. And, but I look around and it's like everybody is so, like you said, dehumanized.
Dehumanized,
yes. When you're sitting in a restaurant and you're trying to talk to the person that's across from you and their face is in their phone. And when you look around the room and even kids as young as 8 years old are into their electronics and I want to walk around and just slap them upside the head. And I'm not like that, but I just want to walk by and take everybody's electronics and say, you know what? They're all in the bin. And when you leave, you can pick up your stuff right now. Why don't you talk to the person you came in here with?
Well, here's the thing though, here's the thing, when you actually try to communicate with them, what do?
They have no idea how.
They look at you like you're crazy. Yep. Like, you'll have a waitress that's so programmed and dehumanized, and, you'll come over and you say, so how was your day today, huh? I mean, you seem like you really worked hard. And she'll look at you like, huh? What are you doing talking to me? Just, here's your order. And, it's just a robotic response.
How are you? Like when you say, "How are you today?" and they look at you like, "Am I supposed to answer that?"
Well, not only that, look at the dating scene. Let's talk about the dating scene. I mean, since we're talking about dehumanization.
Oh, I know what the dating scene looks like. It is horrible.
I tell you what, when you look at the dating scene, and this is true, real talk, half of the shit that people put on there is lies. So when you meet someone on the internet or a phone chat or whatever. Always, always, always understand one thing. Everything is a lie, and you just have to meet the person, get to know them, and then decipher the bullshit from the truth.
I'm not really into this, the dating site thing. I'm not into because I had a friend who signed me up, and I never even paid attention or went on my profile or anything.
But the point of the matter is that everyone that's on the dating scene, okay, are like what we said. They're dehumanized. Like you can't talk about the spiritual realm with someone. You can't say, hey, I just had a premonition, or wow, I just had a vision, or wow, I had a dream of in a past life. So look at you like, what? What are you talking about? Like, yeah, I just whatever. So it really questions your views on humanity in overall. Is there hope for humanity? And I get asked this a lot on multiple radio shows. I said, well, Paul, is there hope for humanity? Is there hope for humanity? and it's dim. Because
I think that there's enough of us, the few that are out there, that still have reality
it's really
in
dim.
us, and I think we can bring this back. I think that, you know, if we start to stand up and we start to show these people that are dehumanized what it's like to be humanized, I think we might have a chance, and it starts with our kids.
But then again, you have to ask yourself the question, are these people actually human? So, you know, you get where I'm getting at now?
Yep.
So, I mean, yeah, so that's another uphill battle. And with the activists, it's like, you know, just to realize, wow, oh my God, my food is being poisoned. Why would they poison my food?
Oh, no, they wouldn't do that. That's just...
They wouldn't do that.
Craziness.
Oh my God, like, wow, my water's being poisoned.
And you know what the biggest thing I hear when you try to talk to somebody about chemtrails, and you know what, I look up in the sky and there's 87,000 different things going across our sky, but they're not the chemtrails or anything. That's just condensation, you know, it's condensation. It's okay. And ice
crystals, it's ice crystals. Hey, it's ice crystals and rainbows.
They would never do that to us, and we're the programmed ones for even talking about it. And I'm like, really? Are you guys kidding me?
It's insanity. It's insanity because, you know what, though? It's insanity not because it's happening. I'm going to tell you why it's insanity. Not because it's happening. See, it's not insanity that they're depopulating, which, well, it is, but it's more insane that people who see it are so in denial, so programmed.
Oh, yes.
So in PS4 world. So comfortable with, well, I'm just going to stay with my wife who I'm unsatisfied with. But even though I'm unsatisfied with her and she's not my soulmate, I'm comfortable. So screw you, Paul Wesley. I don't have to hear anything you have to say. All right? So that is the most disheartening thing, is that, you know, what you were saying earlier, well, you know, if we get enough of us together, getting enough of us together is just part one. The hardest part is making people want to put forth a keyword effort.
That's right. And the problem with this world is nobody wants to put an effort into anything anymore.
So that goes back to what I just said, is the hope from humanity. You know? And it seems grim. I'm not going to say no. But I'm going to say no. I don't know what to say. I don't want to say. I'm trying to light a cigarette at the same time, but I'll tell you what. I don't believe that we're lost altogether, but I do believe it's going to take massive awakenings. If that makes any sense to you?
And I think our massive awakenings are just around the corner. I think we're in for a rude awakening that nobody's ready for, except for the ones that are paying attention. Because here's the thing, Sue. Here's the thing, okay? And here's the thing. We have millions and millions and millions and millions of people who are in la-la lands. Now, in order to beat the elite, or not even beat them, but to consciously defeat them on a spiritual level, on a paranormal level, because that's what we need to do. Because we're not dealing with presidents. We're not dealing with congressmen. We're not dealing with the elite. These people are non-human. These people are parasites. These people are out of this world. Do you understand? Out of this world. We're not dealing with entities that have humanity's best interest. Because if they were human beings, they would have empathy, compassion. They would have, a human being could beat a dog and say, "Well, I just beat my dog. That's pretty messed up, man. I kind of feel bad for that. I shouldn't have got mad at my dog. These are people that are spying in our skies. Like, yo, we're spying in your skies because we think you are parasites. And we know what we're doing to you, and we're consciously doing it, and it's okay. We're poisoning your food because we think you are worthless eaters. In other words, what the elite believe, these non-humans, they believe that if you mentally don't want to if you mentally do not want to put forth the effort to consciously change what they're doing, like they're basically coming out and saying, "Hey, we hate you, we're going to kill you. If you don't want to mentally fight us, then you deserve to die. So we're poisoning your air, food, water, everything else, and we're dehumanizing you."
If you have an inkling of what's going on and all you want to do is go on Facebook and post about it but not do something about it, then you are exactly what we think you are. You are a piece of crap, and we are going to continue to poison you. And thus, that comes down to what we just said. Knowing what's going on is one thing. See, the problem with being the way we are is that we have to battle the people that are doing it. We have to wake up people. And then we have to battle the people that are causing us crazy that don't want to do jack shit to help. So we're pretty much, it's like uphill battle. So when you have the activist who goes, oh my God, wow, I finally figured out that my food is being poisoned. That right there is a cultural shock. But then when they find out, oh my God, the people that are doing it are not human beings, it's a supernatural aspect into it, then it totally blows their freaking mind. And it's so much, what is it? J. Edgar Hoover said it himself the best. The conspiracy is so deep, so horrific, and so monstrous that anybody who wakes up to it will not believe it. Not only will they not believe it, but when they wake up to it, they are not going to be willing to fight against it.
Well, I think the one of the worst things is, I mean, I was not always open-minded to all this. I was not always awake to this. And, I think that people are brought into our lives for different reasons, even if they're brought in for a short period of time and they wreak havoc in your life. But, my eyes were opened in a way that I never even imagined. Like you said, wow, people are poisoning us. Oh, my gosh. And it was the biggest, it was like somebody took a 2x4 and slapped me in the back of the head with it. And it was like, but what's bad is when these people that wake you up to it, they fall into it themselves. And it's like, they don't even realize how they are being they're being manipulated and just as dehumanized as what they're telling you is going on in the world. And they are themselves allowing themselves to be dehumanized by, what you can buy with the money you have and how much, a place to live is more important than a human being or a new truck.
And that's right. You're right on the money because, like, as a single parent, people say, like, oh, well, you don't have this. Like, I don't have nothing. I'm poor. But I may be poor on a physical, financial level.
But you are richer than rich can be because of what you do have.
Yes.
As I am too. I am as well.
Thank you.
I have 4 girls. I have nothing. I mean, right now I'm struggling to get a car and get back to work and get my
I don't even own a car.
I don't either right now. And I'm struggling to get back on my feet. And this is a hard thing for me because you have all these people who, I meet people and they're nice people and they want to be a part of your life. And as soon as you tell them that you don't have a car or whatever, right now I'm in between jobs but I have my own radio show. Well, what do you think a radio show is going to do for you? How are you taking care of your kids? You know what? I do take care of my kids.
I get
I don't have all that money can buy. But you know what? What I do have is so much more blessing than those people with billions of dollars. That's the thing.
Speak about it.
Well, that's the thing. They think that their money means that they have everything that they need in life. They have their own apartment or their own house and their own car.
Sweetheart, I love you so much. And I feel your anger, and I love it because you know what? Your frustration is healing you right now. And I want your kids to listen to the show. I don't want any one of your kids to ever not listen to anything you do and think that you're not doing this for any other reason. Because I want them to listen to this show. And then, I want them to hear this. Your mom is a warrior when they hear this. Your mom is a warrior.
I tell my kids every day. I tell my kids every day that they are.
If you don't, to all Susan's 4 kids, when you hear this, youtube.com/Truthchaser. You see the guest that your mother has on the show. Me and your mother think of Leslie. It's a blessing to even be on the show. And I just want to say, right off the bat, thank you so much, Susan, for having me on as a guest and giving me the privilege to be able to reach your fan base and reach your crowd. Because without people like you, I wouldn't be able to do what I do. And my message to the kids is, your mom is a warrior again, and we don't do this for money. We don't do this for donation. Hey, Sue, how much does it cost to be an activist? Nothing. It doesn't cost anything. We don't make money. We're poor.
Nope, and
we do this for free.
The only thing it costs you sometimes is people that you wouldn't want in your life anyway, and sometimes that's just a blessing.
You know how I do my radio shows with two cell phones? I call the guest on my phone. I have another phone, right? And I hit the record button on the other phone. And on my other phone that I'm talking to, I use that phone to make the poster, the show poster. And I merge the voice, the audio with the actual poster, and that's how I do it. Activism doesn't cost us anything, and you're right. I mean, I'm going to tell you a story. When me and my daughter, our last house we had, okay, we had a really rich Polish guy who lived next door to us. This guy was really rich, and hundreds of thousands of dollars in housing and all that, and he treated us like shit. He was like, oh, well, I'm selling my house for $120,000. All you do is rent. Well, okay, fine, whatever you say, pal. And he would go on about how he's selling his house and this and this and that. And he had this one black guy that was redoing his house. You know what I mean? And fixing up his house before he sold the house. And his helper, the one black dude, was a fan of mine, believe it or not. And, he was on my YouTube and the Facebook. He's still on my Facebook. And he told the guy, the Richie Polish guy that lived next door to me. And I would listen to, him bossing this guy around, the black dude. He's like, oh, no, you fix this, you do that, cursing at him. You do this, you do this, you do. And I come outside with a cup of coffee, instant coffee. I don't buy the expensive stuff. I can't afford it. So I come outside with a coffee, and the black dude would come out and just shake my hand, and it would piss that Polish dude off to no end. Because you know what I'm saying, Sue? You already know what I'm saying.
Yes,
because
I do.
Here's this guy with all this money, with all these houses. He has financial issues, whatever he has, I don't know. He has woman issues, I don't know. This guy that he wants to treat like a peasant, shaking my hand in honor, looking at me like a general in the game, like, thank you, dude. Respect type of thing. And the Polish dude looked at me and I looked at him like, yeah, motherfucker, I am richer than you. My soul is empowered. Your soul is nowhere near the vibrational level I am. You can take every house you have and all the money you have. And that handshake I had in front of that gentleman that was fixing his house was worth anything platinum could buy. Nothing in the world could buy that feeling I had.
That's right. Money cannot buy what you cannot buy that moment. That's right.
I was sitting on my porch one night. with the neighbors 3 doors up and the Polish guy. The neighbors came by because, like I said, we don't have a lot. And they were giving stuff to me and my daughter, just to be friendly. Because my kid likes, she likes, toys and stuff, kid stuff. And they brought her over stuff, and the Polish guy goes, oh, how much is that for? I buy. I said, no, you know what you need to do? You need to go buy a soul. And I'm not a violent man, but I got up, And when I get up, I got up. I went right in his face, and I was just like, dude, go ahead. Go ahead. You know what I mean? Like, I have it, dude. Checkmate. And for people out there that do have and really do treat people like crap, listen to the show, man. That's not the way to go in life. It really isn't. And they said that back in biblical times, in Jesus' times. Like I said, I'm not a real religious person. I'm a universalist. And I believe in love. And Jesus was a love vibration. and one of the things that Jesus had said was, look, give what you have. Because it means nothing when you die. All this YouTube stuff I do, or you do, or we do, it means nothing. The internet could go down today. Everything we worked hard for could go down today. That won't last. What lasts is our essence.
That's right.
So to all our kids out there, you know what I mean? Well, we do this for you. I mean, for people out there that are struggling, for people out there that laugh at us and say, oh, well, you ain't shit, or you're crazy, or you're this, or, I have a nice house. But yeah, you have a nice house, but your wife don't give you ass. You ain't sleeping with her. Your husband ain't giving you ass. He ain't sleeping with you. You two are out of bars, cheating each other, sleeping in different bedrooms, okay? Get it together, people. They're dehumanizing us. They're killing us. And man, love vibration is key. And in every video I've done, in every protest I've done, it's not about that. It's not about money. It's it's about oneness, and that's why me and Sue continue to do what we do, not for the dollar, for the soul.
That's right, because the soul is what matters in your last breath you take.
You know, and she doesn't have a guy on her show right now. You know, I haven't written a bunch of books. You know, I don't have a doctorate. I'm not Dr. Paul Esquire, you know, with all kinds of medical experience. I'm just some dirty ass, grindy dude who gets out there and grinds and grinds and grinds and grinds. I made my way to I ain't gonna say that. Look, I reach the people I reach from grinding, and that's why I'm lucky enough to be on the show that I'm on tonight. And that's why. You know, you don't have, you know, some of these radio shows, they only have people on that, like, oh, it's Dr., you know, Jaguar, you know, whatever. He's written 12 books. You know, I had so many people who wouldn't even give me the time of day. I want to come on the show. I want to talk about humanization. I want to talk about the alien abduction situation and how these people who run our government are human. I want to talk about the paranormal aspect. They won't have me on the show because I don't write books.
Well, you know what? For me, it's more about the person. It's more about the person.
You look beyond that.
That's right, because it's not about who writes what books. It's about what we've experienced in our lives that we need to share. It's about getting the information out there so that people can grow from it and learn from it, and possibly we can make this place a better world to be in. I mean, it doesn't matter how many books you write. It matters what you have to say out there and what these people need to hear. And you know what? Yeah. The things that these people need to hear are things that you have to say. And I am honored that you did come on the show because it gets this messages out there to these people who need to wake up and realize, you know what? It is not okay what's going on. The people that you once knew as decent human beings that you thought would always be there and be good people are all of a sudden not human anymore. They're doing things that are totally against any kind of morals or ethics that you would ever expect them to do. I mean, people need to wake up and realize that the person you're laying next to is not the same person that you married once or that you fell in love with because they're being dehumanized. And we need to realize this so that we start taking control of our own lives back.
Yeah, and that's key because so many people, you know, are afraid, you know, they say to themselves, they say, well, you know, I can't go into universalism because if I do, my wife will leave me, or, you know, I can't, you know, go into activism because if I do, I'll lose my job. And, you know, one of the things is that we're already under massive mind control attack. We're already under massive spiritual attack. So, you've already lost everything as it is. You know, like my daughter, for instance, today, I got my daughter on the school bus, got my little skinny butt up, and I, you know, hopped on the train, and I took my ass down to expose the media again. The only person in the country that's been exposed in the media, but no radio show. Well, I'm not going to say that, but one or two major radio shows won't cover me. You know why they won't cover me, Sue? Because they cater to the superstars that are out there, and that's fine. They don't have to cover me. But my whole thing is this: is that, you know, I'm risking my kids. What if I go down to expose the media and I get locked up? Huh? Where's my kid going? You know, that's the sacrifice I'm giving you people. All right? I literally CBS 3 literally ripped down my chemtrail protest. Okay? Ripped it down. They got in touch with Facebook and ripped down. Matter of fact, the event had 80 people that were coming and 140 that were interested. Okay? What had happened was it was ripped down and it said that my account was fake and that I need to give ID and all kinds of. It was incredible. The whole thing was ripped down. Now I have 15 people that are attending and 40 that are interested, and that's fine with me because that makes me want to work harder. You know what? Because I sit back and I say, you know what, Paul? Maybe you didn't give out enough flyers. Maybe you didn't go down to this neighborhood and give out enough flyers. Maybe you didn't reach out. You know, that just adds wood to the fire. And I'm telling you, Sue, you know, I really believe that, you know, people don't realize the sacrifice that you do. I mean, you're risking your life having these type of radio shows because, you know, at any moment someone could say, well, you're crazy, and, you know, try to rip your world apart. You know what I mean? And that's what we do. We're risking our lives. I mean, I hop on a bus, I get locked up. I go to a protest, I get locked up with my kid. Where am I? I'm doing it for people, man. I'm not doing it for money. I'm not doing it for YouTube views. Like, you know what I'm saying? So Sue's doing this for what? For what? For
the
you.
People. That's right. For the people.
For you. And for you guys out here who are smug, and that's the word, smug, you know, I'm not coming on Susan's radio show because she's not, like, you know, top notch. No, yeah, bullshit, dude. What, you looking for a payday? And now, we're in a war right now. We are in a spiritual war right now. And activists and universalists, we need to really put our differences aside, you know, Sue, and we really need to merge and say, we are all one with all that is one. And when we do this, you know, not, hey, this guy's a little too crazy to be on my show, or, hey, Susan's, you know, too new for me to be on her show. You know, we need to adopt the mentality that who has the message that's going to benefit humanity? Who has the message that's going to heal humanity and connect consciousness as one? Because that's the mother effer I want on my show. And that's the show I want to be on. And until we do that, nothing's going to change.
I agree with that.
Donation money. I don't care if you travel the world. You know what I'm saying, Susan? I don't care if you travel the world. I don't care if you butter up people all you want. I got the Vaseline. Go ahead, stick it in, you scumbag. It's not going to work. You understand? What's going to work is uniting us as one. Hey, and I'm sorry for my language, too, but I get fired up. And your passion and your energy, you know, it's one of a kind. And like you said, you know, you get frustrated. You walk into a supermarket, you get frustrated.
Well, yeah, because I have morals and ethics. You know, when I walk in, it's, hi, how are you? Or, you know what? If I'm doing a job, I'm doing the job for the public, not for myself or my paycheck. I'm doing the job and making sure that my customers leave satisfied. Well, when they come in and there's absolutely nobody who's satisfied with one iota of their life, how are they supposed to leave as satisfied customers anyway? So it kind of makes everything, you know, it makes me frustrated. You know what? Life is beautiful, and what we have in our lives is beautiful. And the problem is, so many people are looking at all the negative going on around them that they do not stop for 1 second and say, you know what? Thank you, God, for what I have. Look around me. I have a lot. You don't need to have a place to live separate from the person you love. It doesn't matter if your kids make a mess and you don't want to live like that. It doesn't matter if your partner's not a clean freak and you are. You don't move out. You just, you know what? You work together to make it comfortable for both of you. You know, you don't go and find somebody else to get what you need because you're not getting it home. You work it out with your partner, and so that you're all happy and content. And this has become such a throwaway world that I'm just beside myself. You know, I don't even want to engage with people a lot of times.
You know? You're right. Yeah.
It's hard.
And what you were saying earlier, too, is right on the money. You were saying how people just seem meaner, don't they? When you live in New York or the New York area, don't they, though? Like,
they're downright nasty.
It's the me. Well, David always said it. Well, I'm going to give him the credit for this one. The me mentality.
Yes, everybody's about themselves and nobody.
Me. Yeah. What can I get for myself?
What about what your actions do to others around you? What about what the choices you make without your significant other? What about the impact that has on the other person and the children involved? I mean, nobody ever thinks about what kind of damage that they leave behind when they do, or what they say and what they do always affects somebody else, and nobody seems to care in the least bit about what they say or do affecting anybody else, as long as they're happy. And I notice a lot of times lately, it's what digs I can get in and what mean things I can say to cut you down that makes me feel better. You know what? I can walk away. You have to live with the digs I just put in you and the feelings I just put in you, and I can walk away I'm satisfied. That's right. What the hell is the matter with you people? That is not what humanity does to one another. That is not what our Creator put us on this planet for. And his message was to love one another and to take care of one another. You know, I have this one guy that I watch in the mornings, and he I like my God shows. I absolutely love them, and I have a few that I watch every morning, and that's my time with God. And I have this guy on there, and he preaches on marriage and the Bible, and he hits on so many perfect things every day that have fallen apart in this world due to the fact that none of us give a damn anymore. Nobody's trying, and nobody takes anything that they have actually as a priority or anything important anymore. You know what? I can go out with him and he's replaceable. It doesn't matter. I can just replace him in a second or her in a second. It doesn't matter how bad I hurt her or him. They don't matter. They're just the next one in line. And it's like, what is the matter with these people in this world? What is the matter with our government and everybody else out there who says, what doesn't matter what I do to you guys? Doesn't matter how many of you I kill off. I got my family right here and I got what I need. Doesn't matter, you can sit and cry and grieve over the ones you lost. Nobody seems to give a damn about uniting and taking care of your own. Everybody's so about themselves. You are so right, and it just makes me sick.
And that's loss of Christ consciousness. And, people have lost, and here's the thing, like, I don't have to go, I don't want to be you don't have to be a holy roller to understand Christ consciousness. And Christ consciousness is Christ consciousness. And that is love and be loved and give love. And what's happening now is that back in the Bible days, in the biblical times, they talk about the jinn. They talk about these entities that, you may know more about this than me, but how man had mixed his DNA with the was ready for the Great Flood, I think it was, where the DNA was tampered with.
Well, the angels came down and mixed their blood with the humans.
Right. Well, that's one of the things I think is going on today, because
I have no doubt that's happening.
Well,
still.
No doubt, because and for all of you to say, oh, well, I don't go to church. I don't. No, listen, I don't go to church, but I observe.
That's
and
right.
I take a lot out of the church.
Sometimes when you sit back and
I take a lot out of the church.
But sometimes when you sit back and you just watch people, and that's me, when I go someplace, I'm not all about the center of attention. I go and I'm quiet, I'm to myself. Whoever I'm sitting there with, I'll chat with, but it's paying attention to the people around you, how they act, what they do, what they say, how they interact with each other as a couple or as a mother-daughter or mother-son or father-son or any of that. And I pay attention to it. And it's like, wow, when I go out with my girls, you know what? It's about laughing and having fun. And what did you do with your day today? And how is school going? And, is what you're eating good? And people don't talk to each other like that. It's, yeah, no, okay.
Yeah,
and it's like,
okay.
Wow.
They're robots. They're like robots. Let me tell you something. Aleister Crowley, I don't know if you know who this guy is, but he was a satanic priest. He was really high in Satanism. And one of the things he said was when he summoned these demonic beings, what did they look like? They look like these gray aliens, these ones who were abducting people. He said, I think what the hell was the guy's name? Krill or something like that. He said his name was. I may be mistaken, but yeah. So what's going on here with these UFOs we've been seeing? These people that are being abducted. All right. Okay. All these millions of people that have been taken against their galactic free will. If we go back in biblical times, let's go back in biblical times. They say how the DNA has been mixed. And God didn't like that. God didn't like the fact that the DNA was being messed with, and didn't like the fact that these demons and fallen angels, whatever you want to call them, were messing with the DNA. All these people nowadays are being abducted. Where are they going? What's happening here, okay? And I believe that these hybrids are here now. I honestly believe that these hybrids are living among us, and I believe that people are being dehumanized, and that's all part of a grand, demonic, satanic, Satanist among the world. And these satanic, demonic entities are dehumanizing us, hybridizing us, and, that's what's going on. And this is one of the reasons why people seem like robots. And it's sad because, You don't have to be a Bible expert to understand Christ consciousness. You don't have to be a Bible expert to go out with someone. Like, listen, if I was to go out with someone who was really heavy in religion, hey, listen, I don't have to do the same things that she may do, but as long as you have Christ consciousness, as long as you have love vibration in your heart, you go out with someone that is heavily in religion. Or if you may not be a Muslim, but if you go out with a Muslim guy or a Muslim girl who's about love vibration, then go ahead, go for it. I mean, that's the problem is people stigmatize. They stigmatize everything. Well, if you're not a Catholic, you can't go out with a Catholic, or if you're not a Christian, if you're not a Baptist, it's ridiculous. And I think that if you have two different views, if the beautiful thing about having two different views is as long as you don't impose your views on another individual, and as long as you respect the views of the individual that you're with, then shit could work. And I think that society is taught that we have to separate each other from not only our religious beliefs, but or just our beliefs in general. And, you know, what's afraid? I mean, you know, why not be open-minded to something that might be different than what you believe or what your partner may like? I mean, why not be open to that? You may learn something from it that you may be able to empower and better yourself from.
I agree totally. I think that what's important between two people that are together and sharing their lives together is your connection, your connection, your emotional connection, your physical connection. As long as you have that all together and if it's a committed relationship, as long as your priorities, I learned a lot. Your priorities have to be your partner, and that's what teaches your kids. Mm-hmm. Your kids are only going to be in your home for a certain amount of time. Then they're out on their own, and then they have their own family. Well, how you treat your partner when you are raising those kids is how you're.
It's going to reflect on how they treat their partners, and not only that. But if you have daughters, listen, if you have daughters and you treat each other like shit, your daughter's going to think it's okay your daughter's going to think it's okay to be treated like shit.
That's right.
Not good.
And that's what I'm saying. No, it's okay. That's exactly what I'm saying. So I think that a partnership between, two adults that choose to be together, I think that when you prioritize each other and you make sure that, sometimes you have to sacrifice what you want or what you need so that your partner has what they want or what they need. And your partner does the same for you. And then nobody's left out. And the whole world doesn't see that. They're all about themselves. Well, if I do this, then you know what? They're getting everything and I'm getting nothing. Well, if you're both doing what you should be to prioritize your partner and their needs and wants, then you're both getting what you need and nobody's left out. Everybody's so worried about themselves that nobody ever wants to take that step forward and say, you know what? I'm willing to sacrifice this to be with you, to take care of you, to prove I love you. Nobody does that anymore because it's all it's all about, I don't have to prove anything to you. Either you're with me or you're not. And there's somebody better out there if you're not. And you know what? I'm guilty of that as well, because when somebody treats me like I'm not a priority or I don't matter or something's more important than me, you're darn right that I'm out of there because, for me, that's not fair. The only thing I want in my life is to know that I'm priority and somebody else's. Yeah. Just as anybody else does.
And another thing is like, I went out with a girl who went to church every Sunday. I didn't go to church every Sunday. Hey, honey, you want to go to church? Nah, I'm cool. I don't believe in getting on my knees. I don't believe in confessing my sins to an all-loving God, because God knows that all beings are all-loving, and God already is all-loving, so why should I have to, And she was cool with that. But here's how it worked out between us. I wouldn't go to church when she would go to church, but guess what I would do? I would damn sure be in the food aisle to feed the homeless at the Christian centers. Yep, that's right. Me, my kid, and my ex-girlfriend at the time, when we were going out, she'd be like, "Hon, I'm going to church. You want to go?" No, I'm cool. I don't go to church, but we would go to Christian centers, we would go to Christian gatherings, we would feed the homeless, and I just, that's my thing. I'm a universalist, and I believe that we're not going to get into the whole religious thing, but, God is all loving in my eyes, and no matter what I do wrong,
Well, God,
because God is all above him.
God already knows what we've done wrong.
Yeah, he already knows the shit.
We're already forgiven for what we've done wrong.
Right. So,
the problem with a lot of people, though, is even though they're forgiven, no matter how much wrong they do, they continue to do the same wrong and think that it's okay to walk all over everybody.
Well, you know what, though? Hon? Listen, they're going to be dealt with when they die. And one of the things is you don't have to be a Christian to understand this. You know, see, religion always says, well, hey, look, when you die, you will get your payback. And that is true. I'm not a religious, I'm not a, how can I say this? I don't consider myself a religious category. But I will tell you this, in my belief. I believe we live in hell right now. This is hell right now. And we need to earn our pardon to get to heaven. I don't believe that if you do bad, you're going to go to hell and eternal fire and burn. I don't believe that. I believe that if you're a really shady person, what's going to happen? And maybe this is from my Celtic background. I don't know. But I do believe that if you're a real shady person, you're going to get a life after this that's going to be even shittier than the one you have, pal. It's going to be even harder than the one you have. So
I think until we learn and get things straightened out, we have to continue to live it. That's right.
You have to continue to do it. And guess what? You know what I'm saying? Guess what? I don't push that on anybody. You know, the Jehovah's Witness come, I'm cool. Thank you. I say, God bless you and thank you. Oh, you're going to burn in hell? I'm like, hey, look, I'm already burning in hell, baby. So, you know what I mean? I'm just trying to make my way out of hell. I'm trying to crawl my way out of hell. So, and I believe that. I really believe that be a decent individual, try to empower others to empower themselves. If church is your thing, fine. Let church be your partner's thing or your thing.
I personally don't think you need to go to church to have a relationship with God or Christ.
Well, neither do I, but some people do. And my whole thing is, my whole thing is that, you know, I believe this, and is that, you know, if you get it wrong now, you're going to have to do it over again. And it may be worse, depending on your mistakes. Now, if you get it right, and you're not a screw up, and you are low vibration, and you are like yourself, as you were saying earlier, good-hearted, you know, then, and guess what? You move up a level, okay? Instead of being reincarnated on this three-dimensional existence that we live, you may go to 4D, you may go to 5D, you're going higher up. And the higher you go, the more enlightened you are, the more low vibrational you are. And, you know, a lot of people are asking me, well, Paul, you know, do you want to be reincarnated when you come back? Or, I said, yeah, sure, why not? And they said, well, don't you want to, like, you know, you do so much good. Don't you want to, like, you know, leave Earth and take a break? I said, nah. I love this insanity. As long
as there's people to talk to and think, you know, a message to get out there. I mean, I'm not somebody, I have a very strong relationship with God and with Jesus. Yeah. That is me. I don't go to church either. I would. I mean, I don't have a problem with going. It's just not something that I do. But I have a very strong personal relationship with God and Jesus. And I think that for everybody, that's what it's about, is your personal walk with your Creator, your personal walk with your Christ.
It could be Jesus, it could be Allah, it could be Moses, it could be Buddha. As long as you're not harming anybody and cutting anyone's head off, and you know what I mean.
But as long as you strive to do good by God, you know, I ask God every day, and this is a personal thing for me. I say, what is my calling? What did you put me here for? You know, and I'm 44 years old, almost 45, and I'm still asking, what am I here for? You know, what did you put me here for?
You're so young. You're 44 young.
But I mean, I look around. Joyce Meyer, she has her calling. She preaches, and boy, does she preach it, and she's amazing. And so many people have their callings. And I'm like, is this my calling to do a radio show so that I'm getting the awareness out there through these amazing guests that come on my show? Or what, you know, is this what you have for me, or do you have something bigger? You know, what do you think?
What do you think, sir? Do you think this is a calling?
I think that what I'm doing... I think what I'm doing is what I'm supposed to be doing, but I have a feeling that there's something bigger that I'm supposed to be doing with what I'm doing. And I just don't think that I've actually figured out what the bigger part of what I'm doing is yet.
Well, that could be, you know what, though? That could be activism. That could be like physically getting out there and having a radio show. I mean, because I'm going to be honest with you, and this is from the heart. You know, I've hosted my radio show. Well, I'm not even going to call it a radio show. I had a part-time radio show, and I've had more than Eisenhower. Jesus Christ, I mean, come on now, you know. Stuart Swerdlow, people, big names, on my radio show. And I was just like, what the hell with it? Like you said, just wing it and see if you can get people to come, decent minds, individuals to come on, and they come on. But I'll tell you what, it really, from having a small amount of experience, I don't have enough radio show experience as you do, but I'm going to tell you this. Having a radio show and actually interacting with people that are like-minded, like we are, oh man, that really brings out the spirit in you. Like you said, you're a Jesus-loving, religious woman. I'll tell you what. Well, what I wanted to say was, are we on air or no?
Yes.
Okay, what I wanted to say was, maybe, like you're saying, you're looking for your calling, maybe you could be, physically getting out, physically doing the radio shows and getting out and interacting and doing activism. I mean, maybe. Check it out. I mean, that
I would
may be
actually
something...
love to. I would. I think that would be good for me because I'm a very social, very social person.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe that.
And I think that's an outlet right there. What about presentations? Like actually hosting like speeches where you talk to people and get out and get in community centers and reach out centers and talk to people like about what's going on in the world. I mean, that's another thing that maybe you're going to.
That could be. I'm pretty big on that as well. It's just I'm a wing it kind of girl. I don't like to be, I don't like a script in front of me, and that's hard. Yeah. It's hard for me because I'm somebody who, if something has to be said, it's said. I don't have filters, and that's part of my problem is I do not have filters. A lot of people say, that moment when that you shouldn't say, you want to say something so bad it's killing you inside, but if you do, it's going to cause an argument. Well, I'm that person who's going to say it anyway. So no matter what argument I do, I am terrible that way. I'm somebody who, if something's building up and I know I have that, psychic kind of ability that I can see somewhat what's coming. Right. And I know exactly what I'm going to say is going to cause the biggest explosion and the biggest fight in the world. But I'm somebody who believes that if it needs to be said, it's going to be said. And I'm not filtered that way. So that's the hard part about me is getting a presentation done where, I'm scripted and reading what's in front of me instead of saying what I feel needs to be said. So I think if I worked on that with self-discipline, I could probably do that.
Yeah, that's true. Another thing is, I'm not sure how long the show is, but is there anything else that we really want to touch base on? Any other questions? Anything you really want to get out there?
I think we covered pretty good for now, but I'd love to have you back on the show to cover more. I think that this is amazing to have somebody who's a lot like me with high energy like this and who's passionate about these things. And, it definitely brings out the passion and the best in me. So, I seriously want to take the time to thank you so much. And I feel honored that you took the time out of your busy life. I mean, raising kids and being an activist and such, that takes a lot of your time. And I want to thank you so much for taking the time out of your schedule to be with us and share with us. And I definitely look forward to having you back on and chatting with you about a lot more.
Thank you. Same here.
All righty. Well, you have a great night.
All right. Same here. Thank you. You too.
Bye.
Bye.
That was a great interview, you guys. Absolutely great. Excuse the language in that interview, as sometimes we all get passionate and not filter our mouths. But I just want to thank you guys for taking the time to be with us. And I really want to take the time to thank our guests for being with us. And Paul was a very amazing guest. And we actually got out there a lot of things that a lot of people are afraid to say. So I definitely want to thank you guys. Well, that's all we have time for today, and we post our shows on YouTube. And if you want to know more about our guests and upcoming shows, please visit our info2rail webpage. Just Google info2rail and click our Google sites. I want to thank you all so much for joining us here at info2rail. If it wasn't for the guests and the listeners, I would not be able to do what I do. And I absolutely love to do what I do. I love bringing you guys new information from new guests, and I myself learn loads and loads about all these things. And I am so thankful. And first and foremost, I want to thank God because he gave me the gift to be able to sit here with you guys and share these things with you guys. And thank you, God. You are definitely amazing, and you have blessed me big for everything I have in my life and for the guests and the listeners who take the time out to spend this time with us. Thank you so much. I definitely hope to see you guys here each and every week. We have great guests with great subjects, and we hope that you join us. So I urge you guys to get involved activistly. Look up, pay attention to what's going on around us. We need a better tomorrow for our kids. And that's my message to you guys is, we need to stand up and realize that when our actions are wrong, we need to correct our actions. And we need to start realizing that we're not the people that we should be. We're not what God made us to be. And we need to be, because in the end, when we close our eyes for the last time, all the possessions and the apartments and the cars and the houses and the everything that we think is so much more important than people, that all stays behind us. You know what matters is the person that holds your hand in your last breath. The one that loved you no matter how messy your house was, or no matter if you had a car today or not, or no matter where you live, if your house is falling down, or even if you have a mansion, It's the people that stand by you and love you and wouldn't want to be anywhere else but beside you. Those are the people that those are the people that you cherish, because they're few and far between. But when you find that special person who accepts everything about you, no matter what, those are the people that you'd be proud to have in your life. May God bless you and keep you, and may his face shine upon you in these uncertain times. We'll see you soon.